Well, Clark and Steve, Butler ends up 18% from the field. That's the lowest in championship history.
Well, deflating from the standpoint of what we saw coming up to this tournament, but all the credit to the Uconn Huskies.
Little redemption for the Big East, Jim. They were really criticized for their performance overall in the tournament, but Uconn comes through.
Greg's coming up, one shining moment. Steve, we've enjoyed having you by our side and all of our new friends from Turner all tournament long. It's all coming up, one shining moment on CBS.
Welcome back to Houston, Texas, everyone, with this reminder. Still ahead tonight, after your late local news, stay tuned for The Late Show with David Letterman. Tonight, that's followed by The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, only on CBS. Once again, our final score, the Huskies of Uconn, 53, Butler, 41. Coming up, our annual CBS Sports Music Video Tribute to the NCAA Tournament, One Shining Moment. Welcome back to Reliant Stadium, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Greg Anthony, Seth Davis, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley. Now here is our HP Championship Game update. And the numbers, that is an unbelievable number, Greg. 18.8 field goal percentage. You can't win a practice session shooting that.
No, listen, we're not going to sugarcoat it. It was by far the worst performance I've ever seen in a national championship. I mean, there's no way to really sugarcoat it. That's just the reality. Unfortunately, we all had to witness it. But at the end of the day, when they look back on this years from now, no one's going to put an asterisk on the fact that the Uconn Huskies are the national champions. You can't take that away from them. They accomplished it, and you know what? Forget the stats. Bottom line is they were a better basketball team. You know, there's really no other way to put it.
Yeah, they certainly were a better team tonight, and especially in the second half. You give Uconn credit for rebounding. Both these teams played very poorly in the first half. I really thought that Jeremy Lamb gave the team a spark at the beginning of the second half. Once the shots started going down, then the whole team seemed to wake up. Butler never woke up from a very bad night there.
Well, I know you could say that the game was shot well, but at the end of the day, when you walk around with that #1 shirt and you're a national champion, that's all that matters, because it's about getting it done. There's no such thing as ugly wins in a national championship game, because when you go home, the store's Connecticut, and when you touch down, the place is going to be electric.
Yeah, and I kind of feel bad the way it ended for Butler. The people are going to say it wasn't a very good game. But it doesn't take away from their magical run. They had a great season. And as I said before the game, this to me, what Uconn accomplished, winning 5 games in 5 days in the Big East tournament, and this run is part of the greatest run of any tournament team has ever had.
The 53 points by Uconn is the fewest by a champion since 1949, but you know what? It was 12 more than the other guy had tonight. Coming up, the presentation of the 2011 NCAA National Championship Trophy to Uconn. We welcome you back to Houston, everyone, where Uconn has won the championship 53-41. Let's take you back courtside for the trophy presentation. Jim Nance standing by with the new national champions. Jim.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Houston, for a great Final Four, and congratulations, Connecticut Huskies. My pleasure to introduce the president of the NCAA, Dr. Mark Emmert.
Well, Jim, thank you very much, and to everyone that's here, what a wonderful championship, a fabulous tournament. The entire NCAA is so proud of this city and what this event has meant. Congratulations to the Uconn Huskies.
And here to present the trophy to Coach Jim Calhoun and the Huskies is Gene Smith, the chair of the Division I Men's Basketball Committee. Gene?
Thank you, Jim, and I want to congratulate both teams. It's a great game tonight. We really appreciate the effort they put on the floor. And Jim, congratulations. On behalf of the NCAA Men's Basketball Committee, congratulations on your 2011 NCAA Men's Basketball Championships. Congratulations.
He's going to let Kemba hold it. Coach, number 3 in school history, all of them since 1999. But this team, you said, gave you a thrill this season beyond compare. How do you put it in words what this means?
Well, I really can't. They're so special. Our players, our university, our fans. We had over almost 10,000 people at 6 o'clock this morning back home. And these group of kids have given me a year that every single coach should get at least 1 year like this. The championship is incredibly wonderful to bring back to Connecticut and our fans. But to give to these kids the work they put in, it made me close to professionally the happiest moment of my life.
You know, that second half, you just shut down the Bulldogs. They shot 18% for the game, the lowest in championship history. How did you guys defend them like that?
Well, we made some good adjustments, and they come out when we couldn't put the ball in the basket in the first half. We got to sway it a little bit on defense and gave them some shots. The halftime speech was rather interesting. I'm glad you didn't have your CBS cameras in there. But we knew that we could really defend them. And we knew we could switch guard to guard and all the things we eventually did. The major adjustment was we were going to outwill them and outwork them, and eventually we outplayed them. And they're a terrific basketball team. Brad's an incredible coach. They gave us everything we could have, but our kids, they wouldn't give in.
Coach, you're an incredible coach, and I got to tell you, it hasn't been the easiest year off the court with the loss of some loved ones. But you know, now 3 championship trophies, and at 68, you are the oldest coach to ever win a national championship in the history of this event, breaking the record that belonged to Paul Gallen, who was 66 when he won his last one. That's a pretty remarkable thing to add to an already incredible resume.
Well, Paul Gallen obviously was just a kid.
Yeah, right.
So, I love coaching, I love my team, and once again, I'll do the same thing I always do. We'll go home, relax, and get together with these guys and just enjoy the moment.
Thank you, Jim. I got to get a word from Kimba. Kimba and the kids. Hey, Kimba, when we talked last week up at Gamble, you were talking about May the 8th. A few things are going to be happening on that day for you. Give everybody a clue, will you?
May 8th, I'll be graduating.
In 3 years. You'll be there with a championship trophy.
Championship trophy.
It's going to be your birthday.
My birthday and Mother's Day.
And Mother's Day. and your mother, Andrea, is loving it right now. Congratulations, guys. Guess what? It's time to tear down the nets. And we'll see it shortly for one shining moment. The Huskies are the national champions. Greg Gumbel, back to you.
Jim Nance, thanks very much. We'll take a moment here. Stay with us. We'll be back with more live from Houston, Texas, right after this. The Huskies are champions once again. Welcome back to Houston, everyone. We have a reminder for you coming up tonight on CBS after your late local news. It's The Late Show with David Letterman, followed by The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. And still to come here, our special tribute to the NCAA tournament, One Shining Moment. Welcome back as we celebrate a new national champion, the Connecticut Huskies. They get set to cut down the nets. And the first guy you've got to congratulate is Jim Calhoun. Not a whole lot of guys in his profession have won at least 3 titles.
No doubt about it. An impressive performance when you consider we had this team as young as they were.
Werner Latter is proud to donate $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of every school. In this year's Final Four, Werner, the official ladder of the NCAA basketball championships and the official ladder of professional contractors who rise above the rest. Seth.
It was an extraordinary run for Uconn. Jim Calhoun at the right young age of 68 with his youngest team, certainly his most unlikely national champion. There's no way, Kenny, going into the Big East tournament that he could have imagined this moment in what could very well possibly be his valedictory as a college basketball coach.
Honestly, I don't believe how they did it. I don't understand how they did it because I played at every level that you could play at, and to play 5 games in 5 nights in the Big East tournament, win that, then go on a 6-game win streak in this. The exhaustion, the mental exhaustion, forget physical, the mental exhaustion and the highs and lows to get it done. And they don't ask you how many points you scored, how many assists you had. At the end of the day, they ask you, did you win? And yes, they won. I've got to say, I didn't know what to expect coming into this venture, but it has been a blast for me. If you're a sports fan, I would recommend everybody go to the Final Four. I had never been to the Final Four before. It was an incredible weekend, incredible weekend.
Hey, maybe you'll come back. He will. One shining moment and more still to come. Stay tuned. We will continue live from Houston, Texas right after this. Welcome back to Houston, everyone. There is your final score, 53-41, Connecticut over the Butler Bulldogs. And Uconn wins its third title. Jim Calhoun, the oldest coach to win a championship. In the second half, Kenny, we thought these teams would break through. Only one of them really did. Butler shot 16% in the second half.
Well, Jeremy Lamb probably had the biggest advantage, so he was able to get his shot off easier than everyone else. So I thought that was the difference.
Our Tracy Wilson-Stevens has done great things for Butler as well, Charles.
You know, people at UConn deserve to win the game, but what he has done and those kids have done for Butler has been remarkable. I know they feel horrible right now, but when they get a chance to step back, what they did was amazing.
It was amazing. I really believe that the reason VCU was here because Butler was here last year. They've given hope to everyone who don't have the resources to get the top players to fly all across the country every day. They give people hope to say, you play hard, you play smart, you play together, you can win.
And they're not one-hit wonders, by the way. They lost 2 starters from last year's team. Matt Howard is a senior. They're losing some guys here. They have some good young guys who played well in this tournament. Kyle Marshall, Sheldon Mack may be back. They're going to be good again next year. They have a culture of continuity.
Yeah, and a culture of winning. And listen, although it was the ugliest game we've ever seen in a national championship, it doesn't really diminish what they've done over the last 2 seasons, no doubt about it. They should be proud, even though right now I know they're feeling a lot of pain.
Meanwhile, Uconn wins 11 games over the last 27 days and the title. Don't forget, still ahead tonight. After your late local news, stay tuned for The Late Show with David Letterman tonight, featuring an encore performance by our partner here at the desk, Sir Charles Barkley. That's followed by The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson only on CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the Masters begins with late night highlights this Thursday and Friday at 11:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Live third round coverage on Saturday begins at 3:30 Eastern. Sunday's final round comes your way at 2 Eastern. And we remind you, coming up next on True TV, join us as we wrap things up from Houston on Inside March Madness, presented by Buick. We will review this evening's NCAA title game. We'll hear from the jubilant winners and have reactions to the new national champions. Once again, the Huskies on top of the college basketball world. Our congratulations to head coach Jim Calhoun and the newly crowned champions from Connecticut. It's Coach Calhoun's third national title, his first since '04. We also applaud Coach Brad Stevens and the Butler Bulldogs, who enjoyed another outstanding season with a second straight championship game appearance. As we get set